Going back to Iowa, it was nice to, of course, get a win because we hadn't had a lot of those. We started poorly, falling down 14. It's especially back-to-back plays. When they have a nice touchdown drive, we break down coverage. Then we throw a pick six, so to have some quickly fall behind 14-0, good sign of maturity. At least we kept battling, staying in there. We go, I think, from 14-0 to 14-3. Then we blow two scoring opportunities where we got it 4th and 1 and decided to go for it, and we don't execute a play cleanly, and then we miss a field goal. So we still have some situations where the game can get away from us, but our defense kept battling. Eventually the offense did get in rhythm at the end of the half to go 14-10. Played a decent second half. We can still play better. Again, offense has been a little out of sync a couple weeks. We played good defenses. We'll continue as we play our opponent this week and other teams. Play some great defenses. Our offense needs to pick it up. Defensively, we're making strides. Still giving up a few plays. Pass game will get stressed by Wisconsin like this week. But good performance, good win. Came back a couple times. The kids are showing some resiliency. They're believing that I think we're figuring out that we don't have to play perfect and we don't have to hope for things to happen. We make it happen, and we're gaining on us. That was good. Players that played well, special teams. Kyle Kennedy, a couple weeks, is showing up on the kickoff cover. Isaiah Roundtree, the big return, got us going after they took the lead on a nice return. Greg Heben was outstanding in the 2 units that he plays on. He's always playing well. Those guys in special teams were recognized for their performances. Defensively, several guys played well, but it kind of came back again to Adam Replogle. Several 3rd and 2 stop. Everybody will talk about Antonio Marshall's pick, but it started on 1st and 10 at the 10, and he has a 2-yard loss to make it 2nd and 12, and then 3rd and 12 that got him to a passing deal. So Adam actually recovered the fumble last play of the game. So, and it's 30, 40 yards downfield. So the guy is a great practice player. He's what we want guys to look like on and off the field, and he's a special guy playing at a high level, and he's doing it week after week. So Adam defensively, Larry Black played a lot better inside as well. Offensively, a couple good performances, but Cam, the way he settled down, really strong at the end of the first half, good second half. Cam Kaufman and then Cody Latimer, had big day with some touchdown scores and did well. And then we recognized again some guys, Paul Phillips again, who was injured this year, would have been in the mix to be a backup tight end. Missed a great deal of preparations, but back full speed, looking good at tight end, which is great. We're going to need him down the road. Andre Booker, a walk-on running back, was our offensive scouts of the week. And defensively, Bryce Worski, who's a freshman out of Seymour, I believe it is, and Mike Replogle, who travels, plays special teams D. And so those guys played well. It was a good win. Now it's on to Wisconsin, which is, I guess, their fight song. But they, good football team, good program, back-to-back champions. Have lost 3 games, each game by 3 points. Lost to 3 really good programs, and Michigan State and Nebraska, and the way Oregon State's playing on the road. They've lost 2 of their 3 on the road. Outstanding football team, all phases of the game. That's why they win championships, a program that we respect. And much like the program we played last week, a program that a lot of things they do, we're trying to emulate, and how you prepare and how you practice and how you recruit and how you coach and eventually how you play. So we're excited to have the opportunity Saturday, but as we go through it, it's each day in prep. We've had 2 good days at work, and we'll look forward to having a good week and seeing where it stacks up Saturday at 12. Questions?
Have you seen the consistency in terms of efforts and practice improve as the season has gone on? Is it at the level that you want it to be?
I think it's really good. Even a few weeks back when we weren't getting the results, we thought we thought we had good practice habits, and we're going to keep coaching and preparing like a winning team. We weren't getting the winning results, but we weren't playing sloppy football. We were playing better. We've actually had in the 2 of the last 3 games 4 turnovers, which is the only games we've had multiple turnovers, against Navy and last week. So we're not executing or playing our best, but our attitude, our work habits, I think the kids believe in our process now and what it's about. They're seeing results, the fruit of their labor. And if you're going to be a good program, you're going to start playing well at home. You're going to start playing well at the end of the season, and you don't play well if you don't prepare. And I think because of the way we've prepared, they've gotten good individual performances. Now we're getting good group and team performances. And I like the start of this week. It's been the way we need to practice, and we need to keep adding as we move forward.
You talked about the 4th and 1. You didn't execute a play. The last couple of games have an average 3 yards a carry. And I know the short passing game is compensatory to that to a degree. Do you need to start running it better?
Oh, no doubt. Again, I think, we're managing ourselves with, our tight end blocking. Nothing against Ted. He's had a big game, but, he's not blocked as well as we need to. Offensive line, we're still young. And that being said, I think we're just physically a little underdeveloped. We're playing an extremely stout defensive line. It goes 339 and 319 inside, 2 outstanding D ends. And the best players on their team are the 2 guys that stand behind them playing backer. And so their front is outstanding. Much like Iowa, they're going to make it difficult to run. But when we lost Trey, we lost a running quarterback. And sometimes in where we are physically, that was an element that's a plus. Right now, some of the short passing is taking the place of some of the things that we need in the run game. But we need the run game to definitely pick up, because for a couple weeks, it was pretty good at Navy, but Navy was dropping 8 defending the pass, so you needed to run it. The last 2 weeks, it's been one of our Achilles heels, and it will be an extreme concern Saturday, because the structure of Wisconsin's defense and the personnel and what they do, that's going to be a difficult challenge. So we need our line backs, and one of our things of improvement, we actually thought our perimeter blocking, even though we had several receivers, Teddy Bolzer and other receivers have nice games in the catching department, we felt our perimeter blocking was not very good. And you always say when you don't run the ball, it's the offensive line. Well, a lot of teams cancel gaps and make you get to the perimeter, and if your receivers and tight ends aren't holding up, they're part of it. It takes 11 guys to run it, and it takes 11 guys to throw it.
You mentioned a few times Will Maddie and what he's meant to this program as a guy that you sort of use as kind of as an example, I guess. I mean, how important has he been for you just trying to build this thing?
I mean, he, Adam, Larry, all those guys, there's 5 scholarship seniors. Charles Love's kept a good attitude as a backup tight end. Sliger, who rotates. Those 5 guys in particular have been strong, and Will and Adam in particular have kind of been our captains each week. We didn't really vote on it. I was kind of, we'll do it at the end of the year, and let the team pick at the end. But they're the 2 guys. If you watch us practice, we come from the sidelines sometimes. We run out. He's the first guy sprinting out every time. It's like a race, and he's going to be first, and he's a 5th-year guy, little squatty lineman. You wouldn't expect that, but he loves to play. He's in our office. He's got an easy schedule since he's basically graduated, so he's up there nonstop watching tape. But again, his practice habits are awesome. His attitude's awesome, and he's really played good. He's played very well for us this year. He's a good as a coach. You can coach all you want. Sometimes you want to point and say that's what it looks like, and we've got a few examples of guys that we like the way they're preparing, and it's really helping the young linemen, or it's helping some of the young defensive players when you watch Adam Replogle or Greg Heaven, those guys.
Just growing up as a center, how have you seen him just develop in that position and get better at what he does?
Well, by the time we got here last year, he played a lot that he really, was just kind of getting used to, Coach Fry and our system and language and terminology. So he was a pretty solid guy a year ago, but I think, Greg Fry does an awesome job, and I think Will is a pretty good extension of Greg, and that I think they've connected and they understand each other, and sometimes you can see, Will is what I would call not a player that coach. I think he's a good mentor, because you can see him when we're not on the field talking to guys, coaching guys, about, hey, next time you see when he comes to the sideline, he'll start like, hey, I felt that guy, I'm going to push him, climb up next time, or I'm going to take it over. Hey, let's bump this twist off. He's played a lot. He's very mature. He's a quality player for us.
People talk about, I guess, the center position needing to be able to communicate on the field. How good of a communicator is he off the field?
Great. Now, again, we go so fast, it's hard to communicate. Because we don't sit up there and have a conversation a lot of times. If you're sitting up there pointing out and identifying everybody, you don't go fast. So, it's not like, our center makes a ton of calls. Sometimes he does, but a lot of times we're going fast. It's more on just group alertness, soundness, and what we're doing off the field. Will's, he's already great. He's a great student. Great. He's going to be he's doing great short term. He'll be great in his whole life. He's a special kid.
Cam, and you, I think both alluded to after the game, he came back in when he was reinserted, let loose a little bit. Is that what you saw in film when you watched the film as well? In terms of
he was decisive, I thought, early, and I don't know why. Again, I think his DNA, nature, he's a calculative, cautious guy. And again, you've got to dare greatly. You just can't cross the line. You can't cross the edge, go over the edge. He, and nobody said anything to him. It's just like, hey, boom, and it wasn't like there was you know, I don't think anybody, unless Kevin Johns did. I mean, I didn't say anything to him, and hey, go back in, you know, and you know why, you know. I think they're just, I mean, he hadn't been here that long. You know, he's our backup quarterback. You know, so's the other guy. You know, they're learning how to play. And they both were competing. They both do great in practice with each other. They both were preparing off the field in a good way as far as, you know, tape study and getting to know things. And, you know, they're getting better every day. They're a long way from what we need them to be, but they manage our system, you know, they manage, you know, what we're trying to do in a good way. So, I mean, why he was better, why he wasn't better to begin with, I don't know. I mean, I'd like him to be, and he wasn't horrible. You know, I mean, he's never been that bad. It's just both those guys are just, it's not by design. They are so dead even, in my opinion, watching them. You know, I mean, half the time I call them the wrong name. You know, because I mean, half the time when I say Cam, I mean Nate, or vice versa in practice. Even though they're different heights and different numbers, I have a hard time, you know, we're very fortunate. They're both decent young players, and if we do a good job, they will get a lot better. And we'll get number 5 back, and we'll keep having competition, and that's what we're trying to build, and we'll have a lot of fun moving forward as we keep building.
When you're looking at them, and, you know, whether you leave them in or take them out, or which guy you start or whatever, when you're watching the play, is it partially just body language? I mean, what are you looking for? Scores,
touchdowns. There was a coach years ago at high school, a long time ago. They had a great program in North Carolina. It was called Greensboro Page. They won state title like 8 or 10 years in a row. Great quarterback, played at South Carolina, came out of there. It was an awesome program. Well, they had about 200 kids on JVs, and the way they did it was you went as the first team offense. If you didn't score, then the second team went, and the third team. So, I mean, I used to do it with the offensive linemen. I used to play 7 or 8 linemen, and I'd go with the group, and if that group didn't score, I'd put a new guy in. If you want to keep playing, you guys go score. And so really it's point production. In the last 3 weeks in general, our point production has dropped off a little bit. We need to pick it up, and it'll be a challenge as good as Wisconsin is. So it's really just, you know, don't turn the ball over and get us in the end zone.
And senior day on Saturday, you mentioned some of the seniors that are going through. Are some of the other guys deciding to not come back for a 5th year going to go through ceremony? Two guys that I don't think have been mentioned. David Blackwell, who's a walk-on we put on scholarship, has said this will be his last year. He could have a 5th year if he wanted it. And Mitchell Voss, who was our punter, and he's actually back, starting to do some things, although Eric's done a nice job punting, have both indicated that so those are 2 walk-ons. The other players that are 4th-year guys, basically I said, if you want to be a senior, let me know. If not, when the season's over, we'll talk about 5th year. And so we got a lot of football to play. And this is not going to be an emotional senior day. And we're not going to be teary-eyed and having a bunch of hugs. We'll recognize the seniors and thank their parents and give them big hugs, but we got a bunch of football left to play.
You've got Cameron and you've got Mark Murphy, whose dad both played in the NFL. When you get kids like that into a program, do you see certain intangibles that maybe put them ahead of other kids?
Good question. I think both those guys, their dads, it's kind of like me. If when I go watch my kid play, I don't say anything. Because sometimes, some parents can get in the way. Both of those dads are very, you wouldn't know they knew anything about football because they don't talk about it. And they're being dads. But that being said, too, I know there's been some. I think the ones that do it the right way know how to push and coach their kid without overdoing it, and overzealous or over pushing or getting that kid burnt out. I don't think Mark's dad allowed him to play football till he was a little bit older as he went through the deal. So, but it is kind of neat, and they're coming out of most of when you're recruiting a kid whose dad's a coach or his dad was a player, you think a lot of times they're coming out of program or the family has got some structure, so they're used to, being able to follow guidelines, follow rules, be a good teammate, be a good team leader. But I don't know if it necessarily makes a guy a better recruit because the dad played, but it doesn't hurt. I don't know if I'd say it's an advantage, but I promise it doesn't hurt that their dads played. And the best thing I like is I think they're just great dads. I don't think they're former players. When the comments that I get with them, they're dads, they love their kids, and they support them in a great way, and I think it's pretty cool. That's what you want to do.
Question back on the quarterbacks a little bit. Did you have any model whatsoever for how you were going to handle sort of a 2-quarterback situation? Did you ever handled anything like this? And once it kind of reached the point that you were going to go back and forth with it, did you just sort of say, it's better that neither one of them feel safe, I guess, it's better that neither one of them.
I don't. No, I mean, I don't know if Again, we don't make as big a deal about the starting lineup unless you really separate yourself. You know, to me, we're a very average team with a lot of young players that need to get better, and they hear that every day, and we embrace that every day. For example, Stephen Houston fumbled with the game on the line. That's why D'Angelo was in at the end of the game, because if you fumble, you don't play. And Stephen's been, we also recognize Stephen, because for 12 weeks in a row, had been getting in the end zone, and really 5-6 weeks in a row, and had a great week of practice last week. Unfortunately, he had a fumble. It was just a blotch handoff, the ball got behind it, bounced off his pads. It was really just a poor mesh exchange, and nothing against Stephen. But our whole thing is about, I mean, Kevin Johns asked me Saturday, who's going to start, and are you going to tell him? I ain't saying nothing. We're just walk out there, and somebody's going to go out there and play. We got to have 11, and somebody's going to take a snap. And I think both of them are pretty good, and I want them both to be better. So they don't feel like one's better than the other. They don't feel like one's worse than the other. And when you watch them play, I mean, it's a blessing, because I'm telling you, they throw so many similar plays. They like a lot of the same stuff. What do you like on third down? Boom, boom, boom. What do you like on third down? Boom. It's about the same answer a lot. So it helps us practice similar things. If you've got a runaround quarterback and a drop back quarterback, you're practicing different styles of offense with the ones and twos. We just are repping our offense, so we're kind of, we didn't try to recruit it that way. And again, we didn't have either one of these guys January the 10th or whatever the day was. And we're lucky we got them both, and we're excited about what they're both going to be. But we don't, it's not a controversy. They better not be, because all I tell them to be, they need, as a quarterback, you have to be a good team leader, and that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day. And you need to be a great teammate. And again, Nate was very excited for Cam at the end of that game. You know, and so, I mean, I think they both respect each other, and they're both pushing each other. And I don't know if we're managing good or bad. I'm telling you, it's not code. We are just trying real hard to get better every day. That's all we're trying to do. And it's kind of fun. That's all we're doing. And we're a long way from what we need to be. We're just going to keep working. And those guys embrace that. That helps the team. And the running backs, Stephen Houston started embracing it, helped the team. And we got more guys embrace. Adam Replogle took it all. And now it's taken some guys with him defensively. Greg Heben took it all. And we're still light years from what you want. But we got some guys that have bought it, they're drinking it, and we're going to keep pushing it. And those two quarterbacks are really, it's been pretty cool. And I'd like to tell you we're doing something fancy. We're not. We're just coaching and practicing hard and trying to play well. That's it.
You talked about D'Angelo being in there. He makes a play on 3rd and 1, just a 2-yard gain. But you've talked about knowing situationally what's on the line. That first down was important. He carried a guy for 2 yards. Talk a little bit about, if you see more of that from your guys, understanding the situation of the game, this play needs to be made now this way.
By playing hard. I mean, he got hit half a yard in the backfield, so he kind of took a guy 3 yards, and he's, I don't know, $180, 85, whatever he is. So, but he's tough as nails, and that was a huge play. And he stayed in bounds, because he could have got knocked out. So he kept the chains moving, got behind his pads. He wasn't going to be denied. One of the plays that no one noticed in the first half, right at the end of our 2-minute drive, we threw a screen pass, and we had a corner pass or two to Cody. We threw a hitch pass to Cody to the field, and a guy hit him on about the 41. He got tackled on the far 40. He carried a guy 10 yards on his back, getting 10 yards where, he got on his own 10 more yards. So it says it's a 20-yard pass play. He went 10 yards carrying a DB on his back. That was pointed out as one of our great plays. That was just an effort play. And D'Angelo's play was an effort play, because we didn't block it right, and we're very fortunate he made the play.
I know the focus is on this week and on this game and this next game and all those sorts of things. But if you had time to think about what this week's game might mean to win it, for the fans, for the program, for recruiting, for getting people into the seats and that sort of thing.
Well, it's our last one at home, so if they're not here this one, they'll catch us next year, or they can catch us as we keep moving forward on the road games. We got at Penn State and at Purdue, so we'll keep seeing the. Again, I'm telling you, we're just really engulfed in where we're at and trying to get better. We're watching a tape of an opponent that's really good, that's used to winning a bunch of games. And for us, you guys can say this is a big game. Well, they're all big. If not, I don't think we'd be playing them. I guess maybe the spring game isn't that big, although as a coach you want to make it big. But outside of that, when you're playing a game, it's a big one. But our whole deal, again, we don't even talk a lot about the game till the end of the week. We just talk about the preparation to try to be at our best, and our best needs to keep getting better, because where we're at, our best isn't real good. You know, just with our youth and lack of experience, you know, our best does nothing but continue to get better and better and better, and needs to. If not, we're never going to be a good program. And so our whole deal is we're trying to just add up consecutive good working days. Hopefully that transfers into some victories and the results you want on Saturdays. We have zero chance Saturday if we don't have a good week, and then we need to go out and play as hard as we can and see how it shakes out. So if, you know, and we don't have a chance this Saturday if we didn't have a chance weeks ago and months ago in the way we've been doing things. So we've got a bunch of productive days of guys just working hard, starting to do things the right way, and it's just adding up. And we're just going to keep adding days and see where that takes us. And that's not coach speak. It's just, that's exactly where we're not, I don't think very few people are good enough to look at the end. Because if you do, you miss where you're going, you know what you're doing. So we're just totally ingrained in blitz pickup today and third and long. Tomorrow will be 2-minute drills and short yardage and goal lines and kickoff cover and punt team. You know, and it's just, this is just what we do to come out and play, and let's just keep trying to keep playing better. You know, and it's kind of nice we hadn't played good and got a couple W's, but we got a long way to go and we're going to keep working. And regardless of this week, we need to keep getting better because we're a long way off. And then after that, we need to keep getting better. We are a long way from, you're never, ever, ever going to get there. So we're just working hard to make it as good as we can. What else? Good?
Real quick, Jakari, what's kind of the latest on him?
Kind of the same. You know, he's out there not really practicing yet. Kind of practicing, not hitting, kind of limited. You know, so, you know, I'd like to say he's going to go, but we're, you know, till he gets in, it's kind of like, you know, Hoobs was kind of going, but not really worked in until he got work till last week, and kind of the same deal. So I think we're kind of in the same situation with, at least we got Chase back in the mix, and Flo and Griffin's played well. So right now, still something changed, I think is where we're at with that. You guys good?
Is it tougher and tougher for him to have a chance to come back because of how much time he's missed?
A little bit. It's hard. It's not penalized, just time on task. No, we'll see. But we're reasonably healthy, playing hard, and you guys go vote today.